Growing up, I always played the role of the responsible sibling. I'm 32 now. My younger brother, Matt, is 29. And ever since we were kids, he's been the reckless one. Charming, impulsive, always landing on his feet while I cleaned up the messes. Our parents passed away when we were in our 20s, and ever since then, I felt like I had to be both sister and safety net. Matt had a habit of making mistakes, bad friends, worse decisions. But he always came to me when he needed help, and I always gave it. Loans, couch space, job referrals, you name it. So when I got the call last year that he'd been arrested, again, for getting into a fight at a bar, I wasn't even surprised. What did surprise me was the tone of his voice when he called. "Please," he said, "I'm done with this life. I need a reset. I want to fix everything." And like a fool with too much hope and too little self-preservation, I believed him. I posted bail, $2,500. I didn't really have, but scraped together. I figured it would be worth it if it meant getting Matt on the right track. He moved into my apartment temporarily, just until his hearing. I made ground rules. No parties, no drinking, no surprises. To his credit, he followed them. At first, for the first time in a long time, he seemed different, calmer. He read books. He asked about my work. He cooked, terribly, but the effort was there. We even started watching documentaries together at night. And then he told me about Lily. She was his new girlfriend. A teacher. Smart. Grounded. Sweet. Someone who didn't know the old version of him, which meant she only saw the good. And maybe, I thought, she was helping him stay that way. He brought her over once for dinner. She was polite, bright-eyed, and clearly smitten with Matt. I'll admit, it was hard not to like her. I thought, maybe this is real. Maybe this time, he's changing for good. Spoiler, he wasn't. One morning, I noticed a charge on my credit card that I didn't make. Just $12.99 for a background check site. Weird. But I figured maybe I forgot something. Or Matt used it to check. Something dumb, like a dating history. He used to joke about that kind of stuff. Then I saw another charge. And another. Within a week, I found nearly $3,800 in unauthorized purchases spread across multiple credit cards, online jewelry stores, flowers, Airbnb rentals. A few were in my name, but delivered to unfamiliar addresses. Panic set in. I froze my cards, filed reports, and changed every password I had. But it didn't take long to piece things together. My brother had stolen my identity. It started small, using my name to apply for a new credit card. He knew my social, my mother's maiden name, all the typical security questions. He'd been living in my house, using my Wi-Fi, probably snooping through my mail. He bought an engagement ring. In my name, a $2,400 custom piece with a handwritten note that read, "To Lily, thank you for saving me. Love, M." I found it in the delivery box hidden under the bathroom sink. Couldn't breathe. I sat there on the tile floor, holding a ring bought with my stolen credit, and cried. This wasn't just betrayal. This was a con. I confronted him that night. He came home smiling, whistling, probably dreaming of his perfect little proposal. I waited until he walked in, then held out the ring box. "This is how you say, thank you." His face went white. Then, he had the audacity to blame me. "If you just loaned me the money." "You mean, after I bailed you out of jail? After I let you live here for free? After I cleaned up your mess for the 100th time?" He said I was overreacting. That he was going to pay it back. That it wasn't a big deal. And then, as if he hadn't just committed fraud, he begged me not to tell Lily. "I love her," he said. "This is the first good thing in my life. Don't ruin it." Ruin it? He ruined it the second he used. Me like a pawn in his fake redemption arc. But I didn't tell Lily. Not yet. I had a different plan. I didn't sleep much that night. Matt went to bed after our fight, probably thinking I'd cool down like always. that I'd sweep this under the rug like every other time he burned me. But this time was different. This wasn't a broken lamp or a bounced check. This was my identity, my future, my name. And somehow, he still thought he could charm his way out of it. So while he slept, I started gathering evidence. Screenshots of transactions, statements from the bank, emails confirming the ring order, everything. I even took a photo of the ring box, still tucked under the sink. It was going to hurt, but I knew what I had to do. The next morning, I made 2 calls, one to the credit bureau and one to a lawyer. I didn't press charges, not yet, but I needed protection. I froze my credit, flagged all my accounts, and had a legal consultation where the lawyer said plainly, "He's committed felony identity theft." Hearing it phrased like that made it all feel real. Felony. My brother. I wanted to scream. I wanted to tell Lily everything. I wanted to drive to her school and yank her out of the classroom and say, "Run. Run now before he uses you too." But I didn't. I wanted her to see it for herself. So I waited. Matt was in and out over the next week, acting like nothing happened. He left dishes in the sink. He used my laundry detergent. He even had the audacity to ask if I could help him with a credit issue, the one he caused. That's when I knew. He didn't feel guilt, just inconvenience. He wasn't sorry. He was annoyed he got caught. Meanwhile, I kept documenting everything. 1. Night. I heard him on the phone in the kitchen. His voice was low, excited. I crept out of my room and listened from around the corner. He was planning the proposal. He'd booked a weekend Airbnb in the mountains, in my name, and told Lily he was finally getting his life on track. He'd even bought a second ring box in case she asked where it came from. 2 days later, he packed a bag and left. That weekend, I sent Lily an email, not a rage-filled rant, just screenshots, a calm explanation, evidence, facts. Then I added one final line. "I'm sorry. You had to find out like this, but you deserve the truth." I didn't hear anything back for 3 days. Then, Monday morning, she showed up at my apartment, alone. Her eyes were red and swollen, but she looked like steel. I broke it off, she said. She didn't cry. She didn't yell. She just handed me something, the ring, and said, "This belongs to you. He said he was going to propose with it this weekend, and that you gave him your blessing." I wanted to laugh, or throw up, or both. Instead, I told her everything. The arrest, the fraud, the lies, all of it. She nodded, like she already knew deep down. "I think he believed his own story," she said softly. Like if he faked being the man he wanted to be long enough, he could actually become him. Then she left. Matt came back that night. I didn't open the door. He called, over and over. Voicemails full of anger, then desperation, then guilt-tripping. Said I ruined his life. I saved those voicemails too, because the next morning, I filed the police report. I didn't want to, but I needed to. When the officers came, they were calm, professional. They asked questions, took down evidence, opened a case. He was charged with identity theft, fraud, and credit card abuse. He tried to plead down, of course. Claimed it was a misunderstanding. Said I'd let him use my cards before, that it was all a mix-up. But the evidence was clear. He took a plea deal. Probation, restitution, and mandatory counseling. He hasn't spoken to me since. People ask me if I regret it. If I miss him. I do. But not the real him. I miss the version I wanted him to be. The brother who cooked burnt pasta and laughed at my awful documentaries. The man Lily fell for. The one who never really existed. But mostly, I've learned not to let love blind me to patterns. To stop setting myself on fire to keep someone else warm. Because family doesn't give you the right to destroy. Someone. And forgiveness doesn't mean giving them the matches again. 6 months passed. In that time, I rebuilt my credit, changed my locks, and moved into a new apartment. I even adopted a cat. Something peaceful, grounding. I started therapy too, not just for the betrayal, but for the guilt that still clung. To me, like smoke after a house fire, Matt was gone from my life, legally and emotionally. I hadn't seen him since the court date. I didn't know where he was living or what he was doing, and I preferred it that way. Until one day, I opened my front door and found him standing there. He looked thinner, shaky, nervous but defiant. Like a kid showing up at school without doing the homework, but still expecting an A. "I need to talk," he said. I didn't let him in. We stood in the hallway, him with his hoodie pulled low, hands in his pockets, eyes darting around like someone expecting to get hit. "I messed up," he said. "But I'm trying. I've been sober. I'm working at a garage. Part-time." I said nothing. Then he dropped. The real reason he was there. "I need your help. Just one more time." Of course. Because when has Matt ever shown up without needing something? "What kind of help?" I asked flatly. He looked down. "I'm applying for a rental. They do background checks. Because of the felony, I keep getting denied. I just need you to co-sign. Just for 6 months. I swear, I laughed. Actually laughed. A cold, bitter sound that startled even me. "You want me to co-sign for you? After everything you did?" I know how it sounds. But I'm different. Now, I swear on Mom's grave, that was a low blow. Our mom had been gone for 5 years. Her memory still stung. And he knew it. I didn't answer. I just stared at him. "You owe me at least a conversation," he said, his voice tightening. I cut him off. "I owe you nothing, Matt. Nothing." He left angry, stormed down the hall muttering something about family loyalty and how everyone gives up on him. But I didn't feel guilt this time. I felt relief. Relief that I'd said no. Relief that I didn't let the tears in his eyes break me again. Still, a part of me wondered, what if he's really trying? What if this time he's telling the truth? That part of me, the old version, still wanted to believe in him. That part would soon regret it. A week later, I got a call from my bank. "Did you authorize a credit inquiry for a used car loan?" No, I hadn't. Turns out, Matt had used my old address and a forged pay stub to apply for a car loan in my name. Again. This time, he wasn't just stealing my credit. He was trying to rebuild his life using my identity again. That's when the anger boiled over. I called the detective who'd handled his previous case. I filed a new report. They said they'd start looking into it, and if they found sufficient evidence, new charges could be filed. That night, I got a voicemail from Matt. "You think I haven't paid enough? You think jail changed me? No. You broke me, not the system. And now, I've got nothing left to lose." I saved that one too. I changed my number, started locking everything down again. The anxiety was back. The constant checking of emails. The fear that some part of my life was being unraveled behind the scenes by someone who once shared my DNA. And then, Lily called. It had been nearly a year since she walked out of my apartment. With that ring, she sounded shaken. "Has Matt reached out to you?" she asked. I paused. "Yeah, why?" "He showed up at my place yesterday. Said he wanted to talk. Said you were smearing his name and trying to ruin his future. He looked bad, really bad." I asked her if she let him in. She hesitated. "No, but he stayed parked outside for an hour." That sick feeling returned. He wasn't just circling my life again. He was slipping back into hers. We both agreed to report the contact. A restraining order wouldn't be out of the question. But here's the thing. When someone like Matt is cornered, they don't go down quietly. They go down swinging. And the next time I saw him, he was with my boss. The last person I ever expected to call me into their office because of Matt was my boss. I work in a mid-sized marketing firm, Nothing flashy, but a solid job I'd worked hard to earn. Clean reputation. Steady promotions. It was one of the few parts of my life Matt hadn't managed to touch. Until now, my manager, Carla, closed the door behind me and motioned for me to sit. Her face was tight, unreadable. She held a manila folder in one hand. "There's something I need to show you," she said. Inside the folder were printed emails, poorly written, with typos and rambling rants. But unmistakably from Matt. He'd emailed our HR department, posing as a former coworker, claiming I had a history of fraud and used family connections to secure my position. He even included screenshots of his own credit fraud, framing them as mine. My mouth went dry. He contacted us 3 times, Carla said. The first 2 were ignored, flagged as spam. But the 3rd email, he used your last name and mentioned prior legal issues. So we looked into it. I sat frozen. "You don't need to worry," she added. "We've already verified it's false. We're not taking any action. But I thought you should know he's escalating." Escalating. That's what Matt did when he lost control. He didn't back off. He found a bigger match and tried to set the whole house on fire. I thanked her, barely holding it together. She nodded, not unkindly, but with a look that said, "Whatever this is, deal with it." Soon. That night, I went home and pulled out the folder I'd been keeping. All the printouts, the voicemails, the photos, the police reports, and for the first time, I didn't cry or shake or feel torn between loyalty and justice. I just felt done. Done pretending he could change. Done carrying a debt that wasn't mine. So I called the detective again. This time, I handed everything over. The fraudulent loan. Attempt, the impersonation, the harassment, the attempt to sabotage my career. They told me there was enough to pursue new charges, this time with intent to cause reputational harm, identity fraud, and violation of the prior agreement. 2 weeks later, Matt was picked up on a bench warrant. I didn't go to the arraignment, but I did hear from Lily again. She reached out to say thank you, not just for telling her the truth, all those months ago, but for making the hard choice when it mattered. "I would have kept believing him," she said, "because I wanted to. You saved me from wasting years." Funny. That's exactly how I used to feel. That somehow, love could overpower damage. That time could repair what character couldn't. But some people don't need time. They need consequences. It's been almost a year since Matt went back into the system. I don't know where he is now. Maybe he's still blaming me. Maybe he's telling a new crowd of strangers about his evil brother who sold him out. It doesn't matter anymore, because I've finally built a life where I'm not looking over my shoulder. My credit is clean. My name is mine again. I even got promoted. The same week, I bought a second cat. And the ring? I keep it in a drawer. Not as a symbol of pain, but as a reminder that sometimes walking away from someone you love isn't weakness. It's survival.